Most people will spend their entire lives chasing $500,000. And the ones who finally get there? A huge number of them end up worse off than before they had it. That sounds impossible. It isn't. And by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly why it happens, how to spot it before it destroys you, and the specific shift in thinking that separates the people who build lasting wealth from the people who just look like they have it. Stay with me, because what I am about to show you is something most financial advisors will never tell you to your face. Here's the trap in its simplest form. You work hard for years. You save. You sacrifice. You finally cross a number that feels life-changing, whether that is $500,000 in a retirement account, a business sale, an inheritance, or an investment that finally paid off. And then quietly, without even realizing it, you start making a completely different set of mistakes. Not because you are stupid, but because nobody ever taught you what money actually does when it reaches a certain size. And that gap in your education is not an accident. Think about this. The wealthiest 1% of people in the United States hold more financial assets than the entire bottom 90% combined. That is not a coincidence. It is the result of knowledge that circulates in certain rooms and almost nowhere else. The people in those rooms are not smarter than you. They just learned the rules of a game you were never properly introduced to. So let us talk about what actually happens when someone suddenly has serious money and why so many intelligent, hardworking people blow it. The first thing that happens is what wealth psychologists call the identity expansion problem. When your net worth jumps significantly, your sense of who you are changes before your financial behaviors do. You start feeling like a wealthy person. And wealthy people, in the cultural story most of us grew up watching, live a certain way. They drive certain cars. They live in certain neighborhoods. They take certain trips. They carry themselves a certain way. And so without a clear financial structure, the new money starts funding a new identity instead of building a new future. There is a study that followed lottery winners across the United States and found that a significant portion of them had declared bankruptcy within 5 years of winning. People who went from having nothing to having hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes millions, and ended up in a worse financial position than before. This is not a failure of intelligence. It is a failure of financial architecture. Nobody taught them how to structure money at scale. And here is where it gets personal, because you do not have to win the lottery for this to destroy you. This trap catches people who get a promotion that doubles their salary. People who sell a small business. People who inherit money from a parent. People whose side hustle finally blows up. The numbers change. The trap stays exactly the same. Here's the mechanism nobody explains. When your income or wealth increases, your fixed costs increase to match it almost automatically. Economists call this lifestyle inflation. But that term makes it sound harmless, like something that just happens, like weather. It is not harmless. It is the single most efficient way to ensure that no matter how much more money you make, you will always feel like you are barely ahead. Imagine two people. The first person earns $40,000 a year and lives on $38,000. They are saving $2,000. Now they get a raise to $70,000. Within 18 months, they are living on $68,000 and saving $2,000. The number changed. The gap did not. They feel richer. Their balance sheet says otherwise. The second person earns the same $40,000. Same raise to $70,000. But they made a deliberate decision before the money arrived to only allow their lifestyle to grow by 20% of any income increase. They now live on $46,000 and invest the rest. 10 years later, those two people are not in the same conversation anymore. The wealthy do not earn more and spend more. They earn more and protect the gap. Now here is the part that most people never reach because they click away too early. There is a second trap inside the first one, and it is far more dangerous. It is called the illusion of asset wealth. This is when someone has $500,000 tied up in things that feel like wealth but do not behave like wealth. A house. A car collection. A business with no real systems. A retirement account they cannot touch without penalty. On paper, they are doing well. In practice, they have no liquidity, no passive income, and no ability to respond when opportunity or emergency arrives. They are rich in numbers and poor in options. Real financial freedom is not about the size of the number. It is about what that number is doing while you sleep. Money that sits in a savings account earning 2% while inflation runs at 4% is not sitting still. It is shrinking. Every single day. In silence. Most people are losing wealth right now and calling it saving. This is the shift that changes everything. The wealthy do not think about money as something you accumulate. They think about it as something you deploy. Every dollar is either working for you or working against you. There is no neutral position. A dollar in a low-yield account in a high-inflation environment is actively costing you purchasing power. A dollar in a diversified index fund historically compounds at somewhere between 7 and 10% annually after inflation. Over 30 years, $500,000 sitting in a savings account and $500,000 properly invested are not even in the same universe of outcomes. We are talking about the difference between $600,000 and over $4 million. That gap is not luck. It is not talent. It is one decision made or not made. Now you understand why the trap is so effective. It catches people at exactly the moment they feel the most financially confident. You reach a number that feels big, and that feeling of arrival makes you stop asking the questions that actually matter. Questions like, is this money protected from inflation? Is this money generating income? Is my lifestyle expanding faster than my assets? What would happen to my financial position if I could not work for 12 months? The people who escape the trap are not the ones who earn the most. They are the ones who refuse to stop being students of money at the exact moment everyone else starts acting like they have figured it out. Here is the final truth, and this is what every second of this video was building toward. The $500,000 trap is not really about $500,000. It is about the moment any amount of money makes you feel like you have arrived. Because arrival is the enemy of accumulation. The people who build generational wealth never feel like they have crossed a finish line. They understand that money is not a destination. It is a discipline you practice every single day, at every income level, at every net worth, for the rest of your life. The information in this video already existed before you watched it. The difference is that now you know it. What you do with that is entirely up to you.